Hello everyone, welcome to our summer launch event. It's been just under 2 months since our last launch and I'm so glad to be back so soon. My name is Angus and I'm the head of product marketing at POCO Global, and we're back for the summer. And I hope everyone is enjoying a little bit of sunshine. Now, as some of you may know, today we are launching an F series. And to remind everyone, F series is all about bringing flagship experience and performance for our users at an aggressive pricing. 2 months ago, we introduced the POCO F4 GT, the apex of power, our hardcore gaming flagship. It's the most powerful smartphone we've ever launched, with super flagship specifications such as Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, 120-watt hypercharge, 120Hz AMOLED display, and unique features such as magnetic pop-up triggers. It certainly lived up to its name. But don't just hear from us. We were super happy to hear from our good media friends, calling it an absolute beast, one of the best gaming phones around. And to point out, even if users don't game, it's still a great flagship phone. And of course, being our hardcore gaming flagship, our fans absolutely loved what we brought into the POCO F4 GT. It's always a proud moment for us at the team here at POCO to see comments that they really enjoy our latest devices. Now, we did realize during our launch of the POCO F4 GT, we saw a lot of fans asking this question. Where is POCO F4? As our base model for the F series, POCO F3 from last year was one of the best performance to value device on the market. It truly represented of everything you need, nothing you don't. And when we take a look back at POCO F3 and then look at the current smartphone market, in recent years, the ranges of smartphone has really broadened. From entry level that meets the basic mobile needs with a few advanced features to mid-rangers that offers few flagship features with great value. Then we enter the quasi-flagship, which is usually a specialist in one area, such as performance-focused or camera-focused. Then we have flagship, which is one of the most interesting segments as tech is getting more and more advanced. Real-life usage doesn't necessarily always require the latest and the best anymore. And lastly, the super flagships, where companies offer the latest and most advanced technology, such as the foldable phones, the Ultras, that usually cost big bucks. For us, today, here, our POCO F number model, we want to define the modern flagship benchmark. What does it take to become a flagship in 2022? We actually believe it's no longer about the latest and the best of everything. In fact, what you need is a strong processor, a fast and vibrant display, great all-day battery life, premium look and feel, and a great daily camera. It has to meet all of these areas, not 2, not 3, but all of it. So today, we will introduce the modern flagship benchmark. Introducing the POCO F4. Another F-series legend arrives today. POCO F4, aiming to be the flagship benchmark, it has to have all the strengths. Compared to the previous F-series models, the F4 is more all-around than ever before. So we start with performance. To be a flagship benchmark, at the very core of it, has to be flagship performance. We have to be very strong in it. But first, we have to take a look at what do people look for in a flagship performance? It's a number of things. Top-end SoC, advanced RAM and ROM, and most importantly, in my opinion, sustainable power. Which is why, for our POCO F4, we will be bringing back the Snapdragon 870. With it being one of the best processors among the market yet, it can still handle any task you throw at it. And a couple of reasons of that is 3.2 GHz as its prime core frequency, which means it's still the highest in the market. It can provide performance quickly and handle heavy tasks. It is still a very advanced manufacturing process at 7 nanometer, along with advanced 5G network capabilities. But if we break it down a bit more further, why did we keep the 870? One of the main reasons is the Snapdragon 870 was wildly popular with the POCO F3. It was loved by users, fans, and the media. It was a hit. and I rarely saw any negative comments about this chipset. And of course, the biggest reason is Snapdragon 870 is still one of the most powerful and power-efficient processor in the market. Among Android processors, it still ranks top, which is still very impressive. More than enough for real-life usage. And when we tested the POCO F4 out on battery efficiency, we did it against its big brother, the Snapdragon 888. In every single category, no matter if you're gaming, any entertainment, the Snapdragon 870 came up on top while using less power. But we still want to improve our performance even more so. Improving sustained peak performance on the POCO F4. We've installed Liquid Cool Technology 2.0, which is one of the best liquid cool solutions we have within all of our product lineups. It's a massive upgrade compared to our last generation, with a vapor chamber 400% bigger than the last one in POCO F3. It can cool the phone faster and push out even more performance, which means when it comes to heavy tasks for a longer period of time, it does great performance. Now let's take a look at a gaming benchmark. Now with the combination of a flash processor and Liquid Cool Technology 2.0, we tested it out on how well it performs on a battle royale game, Free Fire. Under 90 FPS high graphics settings, we were able to hit a very consistent frame rate while playing for about 100 minutes. 100 minutes, and you're getting consistent frame rate. Super impressive. So when we come back to this, featuring the Snapdragon 870, LPDDR5 RAM, and UFS 3.1 ROM, and Liquid Cool Technology 2.0, this is what we mean by strengths in performance. We've got great speeds, sustainable power, and great multitasking. So the benchmark is here. It's flagship chipset, flagship cooling, and flagship multitasking elements. That makes up what we believe is the benchmark performance of a modern flagship. And while we're on the subject of power, let's take a look at battery. In 2021, when we launched the POCO F3, it was crowned at the end of the year as the #1 battery life champion by GSM Arena's Smartphone Buyer's Guide. Now, for those who remember, it came with a 4,520 milliamp battery with 33-watt Pro fast charging. Now, it's not the top battery in terms of size or charging speed, but because it was paired with such a power-efficient processor, it beat it out every other competitor. So this year, we come back again with a 4,500 milliamp battery in the POCO F4, where under moderate usage, it's still a 2-day battery life, which is very impressive. Now, the one area we made more changes this year was charging. On the POCO F4, we're bringing 67-watt turbocharging technology, a flagship level technology where it can really boost your charging speeds even more so than before. So in our POCO F4, we're providing a big battery and a 67-watt turbocharging. I would say this is a sweet spot combination. To charge up to 100% is pretty quick. It only takes 38 minutes to charge up to 100%. So for those users that have battery anxiety, now you'll be stress-free from that. And compared to our last generation, which featured basically the same battery size and 33-watt fast charging, the POCO F3 charges up to 100% in 52 minutes. We have now improved that to 38 minutes in the POCO F4, nearly 30% in improvement. And after charging it to 100%, the POCO F4 also lasts very long. With multiple hours of entertainment in each full charge you get, you're set. So for our users, 4,500 milliamp and 67-watt turbocharging could really be that sweet spot combination. And from what we think, without compromising our size or charging speed, this is a flagship level charging combination. This is our benchmark of a flagship battery. So we finished talking about the processor, the cooling, the battery, and charging. The POCO F4 clearly has the strength of a power of a flagship device. But with all these powerful parts, you may be wondering, is it going to thicken the phone and affect how the phone look and feel? I can tell you with full confidence, we're very much strong in design. Because even with all those components, our POCO F4, it's super thin. Only a 7.7 millimeter, making it still our thinnest POCO smartphone yet. and it only weighs 195 grams. So the overall feel of this device is very light and very comfortable to hold. But other than feeling good, we gotta look good. Let's check out the color options of the POCO F4. First, we have the POCO F4 in night black. This is our latest night black with a glass finish and a dashing lighting effect. It's got that stealth, yet classy feel to it. Then we have POCO F4 in moonlight silver, which is a definition of elegance. Silver is such a hard color to get right, and with the POCO F4, we did it. And lastly, a nebula green on the POCO F4. And I love this color, especially with this whole scene behind it. It's a mixture of edgy, classy, and cool. So these are 3 new colors for our POCO F4. Stunning options for you to choose from. Now, my personal go-to color for the F4 is actually moonlight silver. I think it's one of those colors that I can never really get tired of. It looks good all the time. Now, after checking out the backside of the POCO F4, let's see the front. Featuring on the display is a 6.67-inch large screen that is our favorite size for any sort of entertainment. If you're a big screen lover, this is a great choice for you already. And the layout of the screen is a centered punch hole design in the middle. With this punch hole, we aim to offer the most immersive and non-obstructive viewing experience for our users. So this tiny dot in the middle is actually only 2.76 millimeter in size, making it one of the tiniest dot display in the whole market. But besides it being a big display, we still remain a strong flagship level display that features fan favorite such as 120 Hz refresh rate, E4 AMOLED, and lastly, 360 Hz touch sampling rate. Your daily viewing experience, no matter if it's just scrolling through menus, apps, video watching, the experience is up there with all the super flagships. This is a display setup that sets the benchmark of a flagship device. So as a flagship display, we're not only fast and clear in quality, we're bright and colorful. 1,300 nits peak brightness and 5 million to 1 contrast ratio, along with DCI-P3 at 100%. We ensure this is one of the best AMOLED display in the smartphone market, and certainly in this segment. And to push out optimization on this display even further, we do support True Color HDR10+. And recently, we were able to get Dolby Vision certification on our POCO F4 display. Let's take a look at a video. Shocking quality. And to pair with such a good display, on the bottom and top of the phone, we feature powerful speakers. So you can feel the force of how loud the volume can get and the quality. And when it comes to audio quality, we also verified ourselves with Dolby Atmos, high-res audio, and high-res audio wireless that works in harmony with our dual speakers. This is a true great audio experience on the POCO F4. So to sum up the overall design experience on the POCO F4, we have 3 amazing colors for you to select from. A display that is absolutely on the level of any flagship on the market, featuring E4 AMOLED, 120 Hz refresh rate, and a ton of optimizations and verifications. And audio that pushes quality to its boundaries. And with all of those features, our POCO F4 gives our users a flagship look and feel and a great viewing experience. This is how design and display experience should be for a modern flagship benchmark in 2022. And lastly, we do have camera. Yes, strength in camera. Now, camera has always been one of our weaker components in the past. However, today, we're confident that we have reached a higher level. First, we have a triple camera setup on the POCO F4, a 64 megapixel main camera, a ultra wide that supports a 119-degree angle, and a macro camera. A great and standard triple camera setup these days. But let's take a look at some sample shots from the 64 megapixel first. Now, we were able to get some great shots during the springtime and summertime. In this photo, with a lot of details in the background, there's still a great amount of clarity. And then we mixed it up with another one, where we put our model in a less bright environment, a more complicated environment. Yet, the details remain so good. The small holes on the wall can be clearly seen, and our model is still very much in focus, even with the shadows and light intercrossing. Now, this picture would make a great social media post. Now, we've shown pictures of our main sensors, and they are great. But there's one thing we realize fans have been always asking for. OIS, optical image stabilization, a flagship camera feature for sure. Today, we bring OIS for our users on the POCO F4. It's the very first device in our whole brand where we've brought on OIS. I'm sure some of the fans are very hyped up right now. And for those who aren't sure what the benefit of OIS is, let's check it out, OIS in video mode. That was an awesome video. With OIS, you can clearly see how much more stable it is. And OIS is actually even more useful during low light conditions. In this case, in a darker environment, you can see all the details because of OIS. It's not blurry. And if you look closer at the clock in the background and the whole lighting effect, you can see the OIS image is much better. And to go on some other modes, night mode, where you can simply turn on this feature manually, or you can automatically detect the lighting environment around you, capturing low light environment clearly and with great contrast. With the lighting effect here, our model remains the star of the photo, and the lighting just brings her out even more. And ultra wide, when you either want to take a landscape photo or to capture more in the background, it's always a lovely feature to have. There are always some scenarios where you want to capture more because you're in a tight space, right? You can simply turn on ultra wide and you can do it with ease. And for our macro camera, can anyone guess what this is? At first, it looks kind of cool, looks like glass, looks fragile. In fact, these are just normal glass cups with a diamond cut design. Something so simple, but it's a very cool shot. And if you want to take a selfie with some friends, not just yourself, you can use the panorama selfie mode, where you can rotate the phone and let the software do its magic. I found this function super useful when I'm gathering with my friends outdoors and we can't find someone to take a photo for us. And this becomes really handy. We can fit all of them. And of course, when there are times where you ask your friend, can you take a cool portrait shot of me? I'm going to make it my new social media profile picture. We also feature portrait mode. That works great no matter during the daytime or nighttime. Now, when it comes to these two photos, they look super good. But besides those basic flagship functions for camera, we also have really fun gallery editing functions. But let's make it even better with AI Skyscaping 4.0. Isn't that beautiful? We have brought the aurora into the background. It's a little fun feature where you can change poor weather days into great weather days. With so many options that you can do, it can get pretty creative. Make sure to check this function out. Now, besides changing the sky, we also feature AI Erase 2.0, which is a smart software feature that allows you to erase some of the obstructing objects and make the picture even better. In this case, you can see the cone in the picture, but after you use AI Erase 2.0, it's gone, making it look so much cleaner. It can do it automatically for you, or you can manually choose what to erase. Very handy. And to check out some video functions, we shot a 4K short video on the POCO F4. Let's check it out. Now, besides that awesome 4K video, we still have a tons of cool one-click video modes that you can play around with. We call it one-click video modes because you can just turn on the function, click record, and it'll automatically edit your content and make this effect. This is our POCO F4 camera. It has great video features and camera features. Also, featuring OIS, a flagship camera for sure. So let's recap everything. The POCO F4 representing all the strengths, meaning we're strong all around. We have strength in performance with Snapdragon 870 and Liquid Cooled Technology 2.0, along with flagship RAM and ROM setup. We have a big battery of 4,500 milliamp and 67-watt turbocharging that charges up to 100% in 38 minutes. All that power in a thin design with 3 new colors. E4 AMOLED on the front with 120 Hz refresh rate, and to end it all with it, the 64 megapixel triple camera with OIS first time being featured on a POCO phone. This is POCO F4. All the strengths in all areas. The benchmark of a modern flagship. We have no weaknesses in any category, while offering flagship experience in every aspect. And now, price. Now I know you guys are excited, but let's take a look at a comparison. We compare ourselves to a similar competitor on the market in terms of spec. And you can see in many areas we're either similar or we're better. But they have a staggering price that starts at 700 euros. Let's take a look at ours. For our first option, the 6 GB plus 128 GB option, we have a very strong price of 399 euros. 399 euros for a modern flagship. It's a perfect all-around device. But we do have an early bird, and it starts off at 349 euros. Wow, 349 euros. Strong processor, strong display, strong charging, strong look and feel, and camera. This is our finest deal. But for our high variant, the 8 GB plus 256 GB option, it starts off at 449 euros. So if you have lots of videos or games that you want to save on your phone, we definitely recommend this RAM and ROM setup. And it starts off at 399 euros. Below 400 euros, you can get all the strengths of a modern flagship benchmark. So when we come back to this, it's just shocking. While being better in most areas or similar in some areas, we're at half the price. Insane. What an aggressive pricing we have from the POCO F4. And to get the F4, it will be first available on June 27th to July 7th, just a few days from now, for these early bird pricing on these channels. If you're in the market for an all-around flagship device without breaking your wallet, this is a choice. Look no further. Don't worry, we do have more channels coming in. Make sure to follow our official accounts in your regions to stay up to date of when the F4 will be available on these channels as well. So this is our POCO F4. Every part of it is great. It really has become the majority favorite within the POCO team, and it's tailored for everyone and anyone. Now, we are wrapping up the F series here, but we're not done just yet. We just brought up the modern flagship benchmark. Up next, we have X series. Oh yes, our mid-range to quasi-flagship series. Now in February, we launched the POCO X4 Pro 5G, a strong mid-range all-arounder that gave you incredible specs, like 120 Hz AMOLED, 108 megapixel camera, a powerful 5G processor, and 67-watt turbocharging. It offered flagship experience, which was great for the daily users. However, being, I believe, one of the most beloved series in recent years by fans, they also want to see flagship speed in X series. So this year, we took out X series number model DNA to flagship experience focused, and XGT DNA to flagship level speed focused. It's tailored to 2 types of audiences, and we want to fulfill all the ranges. So for those who want speed in X series, we heard you loud and clear. Today, we bring you the combination of X and GT, tailor-made for the gamers and the speed chasers. Introducing our POCO X4 GT, our latest quasi-flagship speedster. Now, remember, I did mention what quasi-flagship is earlier. It's an expert. And X4 GT, it's a device that removes all speed limits. It is a pure and performance-focused device. So let's get into it. Of course, we're going to start with performance because it's not only the most important for X4 GT, but maybe the most exciting. We'll be giving you one of the most anticipated processor of 2022. Any guesses? Introducing the all-new powerful MediaTek Dimensity 8100 chipset. Yes, it's here. One of the most talked about chipset this year on every social media platform and tech forums. We're so happy to work with MediaTek and bring this one on board. Let's check out a video.
Congratulations to POCO on the successful launch of the POCO X4 GT. MediaTek and POCO share a successful long-standing association on several smartphones. And we are taking our collaboration one step further with the latest POCO X4 GT smartphone, powered by our premium MediaTek Dimensity 8100 chipset. The powerful capabilities of our latest Dimensity 8100 chipset enable unique and incredible user experience for POCO fans and the world's young techies. MediaTek Dimensity 8100 is built using the highly advanced TSMC 5nm production process and packing a host of advanced features and the next level energy efficiency. The chipset integrates 4 premium ARM Cortex-A78 cores with speed reaching 2.85 GHz. With MediaTek's Hyper-Engine 5.0 gaming technologies for exceptional power efficiency and best-in-class frame rates, we are confident that the POCO X4 GT will be hugely popular amongst 5G smartphone lovers who are looking for a blend of innovation, performance, style, and 5G experience that truly stand out. Wishing the POCO team all the very best.
Now, to break down the Dimensity 8100, it's a chipset that runs on the extremely advanced 5nm process. But not only that, it's one made by the world's leading chip manufacturer, TSMC. And when it comes to the CPU, it's a fast and powerful octa-core chip that can truly speed past every task with 4 A78 performance cores, running at an incredible speed of 2.85 GHz, as well as being 25% more efficient than its previous generation. And when it comes to this GPU, it features the all-new Mali G610 GPU, which gives you a 30% improvement over last generation in both graphical performance as well as power efficiency. This is a device that's built for high speed and high performance tasks like intense gaming sessions. And lastly, the APU, which features the APU 580 that can enhance visuals and performance with AI processing by 275%, faster than its previous generation. That's insane, almost 3 times the speed in just 1 year of gap. And it's not just performance and graphics that are fast. Multitasking and storage are also taken to the next level with high-speed LPDDR5 and UFS 3.1 storage on the POCO X4 GT. We want to make sure we can match this amazing SoC, so we offer the best in the multitasking department. With the combo of great chipset and RAM and ROM, we scored an amazing benchmark score, reaching an incredible Antutu score of over 820,000. This score easily makes POCO X4 GT one of the fastest phones on the market. And being so fast, it's actually super power efficient as well. When we compared it to the Snapdragon 888 chipset, which is the competitor in many fans' opinion today, we did the same test earlier, and in every single category, the MediaTek Dimensity 8100 came up on top. Which means this is the speed in X4 GT, featuring one of the fastest and most efficient processor in 2022. But performance isn't just about the chipset. In order to push the limits of what's possible, we need everything around the chipset working together to create an optimal environment as well. which is why we're starting with cooling, and the biggest limiter to speed is thermal throttling due to overheating. So cooling is vital to improving speed and performance. That's why we've equipped X4 GT with the advanced liquid cool technology 2.0 as well. So to make sure the X4 GT stays cool, we've given it a 32% larger vapor chamber than the last generation X3 GT, as well as upgrading it to 7 layers of graphite. So POCO X4 GT combines a powerful and energy-efficient processor, super fast memory, as well as an advanced cooling system to bring you incredible speed and performance. Now let's take a look at some gaming benchmarks to see exactly how fast the X4 GT is. Now the X4 GT runs great in Free Fire 90 FPS mode on high graphics settings, and we were able to maintain a stable average FPS of 89.6. That's nearly perfect, but while staying only 41.5 degrees. That's a shocking result. But what's even more shocking is we wanted to see how it did against our POCO F4 GT, which uses the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. They're both GTs. They're both supposed to be really good at gaming. Against its big brother in the F-series family, it gave a great fight. Similar in FPS and in temperature. This is truly something else. But let's also take a look at MOBA games. In MLBB, we were able to get near 120 FPS for 100 minutes straight on high graphical gaming, while maintaining a temperature around 43 degrees. And then when we compare it again, but to the Snapdragon 888, we were getting similar FPS numbers, but we were at an even lower temperature. So overall, the POCO X4 GT is a great device in gaming, and we definitely recommend it to our gaming users. But performance isn't the only way we're going to innovate speed. There's also connectivity and latency, very crucial when it comes to gaming. X4 GT is not only capable with Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.3, but has also reduced gaming latency by up to 85% with WBH 2.0. And then we also have redesigned its antenna placement to improve the connection performance by up to 100% to give you the best connectivity speeds possible. So all in all, this was POCO X4 GT's powerful and fast performance, powered by the amazing MediaTek Dimensity 8100 processor, running on a 5nm process, and 4 performance cores of A78 at the frequency of 2.85 GHz, an all-new GPU, the Mali G610, liquid cool technology 2.0 to keep the device running smooth and cool, as well as lightning-fast LPDDR5 RAM and UFS 3.1 storage. X4 GT truly takes speed to another level. Next up, display. Now on our GT, we've made some groundbreaking moves on display. We're actually giving you POCO's best LCD ever. But we don't want to just be POCO's best. We're aiming to be the best LCD display on the whole market. First, POCO X4 GT comes with a large 6.6-inch screen, dot display, to give a huge amount of screen space to view all your media. But besides the size of a display, what do we usually look for in a good display? What do we mean when we say we want to be the best? There are 2 main factors: picture quality and fast response time. So let's talk about picture quality first. Now this is a display that is able to produce over 1 billion colors. That means smoother transitions for more dynamic and vivid media experiences. We also have RGB pixel optimizations. So not only is each pixel capable of more, we've also increased pixel density, giving you high clarity and detail, especially when you're reading off text. And having it to be an LCD display, we have an advantage on protecting our users' eyes, which is absolutely crucial. We know how much time we spend on our phones. It's basically the one single object that we all spend time most on. So we've actually enabled POCO X4 GT with blue light reduction at the hardware level, reducing the most harmful wavelengths of blue light up to 30%. But this doesn't just improve comfort. It also means you can get a comfortable viewing experience without the yellowing effect that we've become so used to with the typical software solutions. We want to make sure that all of our POCO X4 GT's users can use their devices comfortably, anytime, anywhere. That's why we're giving you features like True Display, Paper Texture Mode, and DC Dimming. All these features to optimize quality, but also protecting our users' eyes. And in terms of gaming, we did a small improvement as well. We improved the touch resolution by more than 10 times the norm, so that your screen will not just display high resolution, but also receive your touch inputs in high resolutions as well. This means higher touch accuracy and smoothness, especially in intense games. Now, talking about gaming, let's talk about how fast this display is. In fact, X4 GT's display is actually POCO's fastest display ever. With an ultra-fast, ultra-smooth 144 Hz refresh rate. 144 Hz. Insane. To think that just a couple of years ago, we were still hyped on getting 144 Hz on monitors. And I remember those being super expensive. Now, we have brought 144 Hz onto our smartphones. And 144 Hz is actually the fastest refresh rate on smartphones yet so far. It gives you amazingly low latency and delay, letting you respond faster and smoother. But how fast is 144 Hz? Let's take a look at a video. Now, we did use a game that supports 144 Hz mode on the App Store, Real Racing 3. And we've done some tests with Real Racing 3 on 144 FPS mode to ensure that you not only get these incredible high refresh rates, but they'll also stay stable over long gameplay sessions. But the biggest worry with high refresh rate is battery drainage. If my screen is going to go so fast, will my battery die really quickly as well? Don't worry. POCO X4 GT also comes with 7-stage dynamic switch, letting it optimize your refresh rate between apps to give you the best experience at all times, while extending battery life. This is a super smart function. Now, to give you guys a better idea, we did take a sample video, and let's check it out. So we talked a lot about how X4 GT has one of the most advanced LCD displays on the market. So let's compare with one as well. Going down the spec table, we match or surpass the competition in nearly every single category. So this was POCO X4 GT's incredible display, one of the best LCD displays on the market. Actually, I want to say this is the best LCD display on the market. No one has done this much optimization on LCD before, and we want to be the first, giving you incredible picture quality with 1 billion colors, RGB pixels, DCI-P3, color gamut, and Dolby Vision support, as well as one of the fastest display in the market with 144 Hz refresh rate and 7-stage dynamic switch, giving you that smooth and seamless experience without sacrificing battery life. And speaking about battery, let's talk about that next. Battery has always been a very crucial part for our X series. Now, I kind of want to point out, there's been a lot of companies, or a lot of phone companies, especially in the quasi-flagship segment, nowadays are sacrificing battery size to chase the faster charging speeds on the market. But we're not going to do that with the POCO X4 GT. We want to give you a performance-heavy device that will stay performing for longer as well. That's why the POCO X4 GT is actually coming with a 5080 mAh battery, the biggest battery we put on an X series device yet. That's easily up to 2-day battery life, which is super handy for those who want to stay on the go, but often don't carry power banks with them all the time. And when you do need to charge up, we do support 67-watt turbocharging, a flagship charging speed, and no need to say much here. It's just amazing. And to get up to 100%, we can charge that massive 5080 mAh battery in just 46 minutes. 46 minutes. In 46 minutes, you get 2 days of usage. A combination that gives you turbo speed charging without compromising battery size. That's the way we do it in X series. To give you guys some example, in case you guys are in a rush and your phone's actually out of battery, after just a few minutes of washing up, for me it probably takes 5 to 6 minutes, you can charge up to the phone up to 25%. A 15-minute breakfast will have your phone charge up to 50%. And a 30-minute workout while you leave your phone charging will get it up to 85%. Charging is just so easy with the X4 GT. But for our gamers, there's another scenario. This is a performance phone after all, so we're not going to forget our gamers. As a gamer myself, I often hear this. Oh, I'm out of battery. I can't play. You guys go ahead without me. I need to charge my phone for a bit. But with POCO X4 GT, we want to get rid of these moments. Because after just 10 minutes of charging, you can actually get up to 93 minutes of gaming. That's absolutely shocking. And after a full charge on the X4 GT will get you hundreds of hours of entertainment. So you'll have a blast using this phone. So this is our POCO X4 GT's battery and charging, combining a massive 5080 milliamp 2-day battery with 67-watt turbo charging that can charge up to 100% in just 46 minutes. This incredible combination is enabled by MMT technology, and this is how we let you game for over 90 minutes after just 10 minutes of charging. So we've talked about performance, display, and charging, which are the focus point of our no speed limited. POCO X4 GT is a device designed to give you incredible specs in all of these categories. The Dimensity 8100 chipset, the 144Hz dynamic switch display, the 67-watt turbocharging with a big battery. This is a combination that gives you speed without any compromises. But next up, let's talk about design and experience. We definitely didn't forget about this. In fact, we made huge efforts for our daily users and gamers. But first, let's take a look at some color options. First, we have the black on the POCO X4 GT. Classic, never out of fashion. With our new straight frame design, it looks premium and it feels premium. Next up, silver, a dashing silver color with a little bit of glow. It's almost seen as white if it's under the bright light, but it can also shine very, very well in dark environments. And lastly, blue. Now, this blue is a little bit different from the previous blue that was featured in X series before. For this one, we've made it lighter, more elegant, more fresh, and youthful. I honestly love this blue. This might be the favorite color of the three for me. And with 3 color options, it has an all-new design with a shiny gradient that gives off just a little bit of flair, but always stay classy and elegant. The color options are great, and let us know in the comments below which one you prefer. Now, besides looking good, right, we gotta also make sure we feel good. So we also made a first attempt on changing the aspect ratio of the phone. It's actually POCO's first smartphone with a 20.5:9 aspect ratio, which means a narrow body that feels better when used with one hand. Now, we all have those moments where we want to use one hand to text. I often do it in meetings, sending quick messages, while pretending I'm actually listening. But having this aspect ratio, this makes it really easy. And of course, the legendary fan favorite feature is back. We're giving you the 3.5mm headphone jack so you can plug in your wired headphones without needing any annoying adapters or dongles. But if you don't want to use headphones, the X4 GT also comes with a powerful dual speakers, and we make sure this will give you an immersive audio experience with support from Dolby Atmos as well as high-res audio and high-res audio wireless. And to round out the overall experience, the X4 GT also comes with the X-axis linear motor that gives you a shorter, crisper, and more realistic vibrations, whether you're typing or playing games. So this is our POCO X4 GT's design experience. A new straight frame design that comes in 3 colors. All new 20.5:9 aspect ratio for better hand feel and better one-hand usage. Dual speakers for support of Dolby Atmos and high-res audio and high-res audio wireless. Of course, also the headphone jack for when you need it. Lastly, camera on the POCO X4 GT. Let's dive right in. The X4 GT also comes with a triple camera setup that allows you to capture clear and detailed shots. Whether you're using the 64 megapixel main camera, the ultra-wide lens, or the macro camera, let's take a look at the GT's camera in action. First, we have some 64 megapixel shot where it captured the model so well. The beautiful sky in the background along the architecture is absolutely beautiful. And the X4 GT captured it clear and crisp and colorful. And when we bring it to the night environment, just look at how stunning this photo is. All the lighting captured perfectly. The reflection of the building on the water surface is such a nice detail. And when you want to go to an even darker environment with cool lighting effects, turn on night mode and you can probably play with something that can be a cyberpunk feel to it. And of course, ultra wide, that makes picture just look more grand and give that wow effect. I think ultra wide lens is definitely the lens I use most because it's just so handy. And then there's macro shots. And in this case, we just took a simple shot of some water droplets. Something you can do at home and take creative content like this. And then we have those occasional selfie shots where we ensure you look good and fresh. Great for any social media profile picture. But besides all those photo modes, the POCO X4 GT is still very capable on software. Whether you still want to use 4K mode, long exposure shots, time-lapse video, and vlogs, all these functions is here to let you break your limits of being creative on social media space or just simply maintaining your best memories in life. This is our POCO X4 GT, a device that takes you beyond the limits of speed. With one of the fastest and most anticipated processors of 2022, the MediaTek Dimensity 8100, supported by high-speed LPDDR5 RAM and UFS 3.1 storage, POCO's fastest 144 Hz refresh rate display, capable of over 1 billion colors, as well as currently, what I believe, the best LCD display on the market, as well as 67-watt turbocharging paired with a massive battery. And all of these incredible specs will run on MIUI 13 based off Android 12 out of the box. So when we come back to this, we're way past any limits of the segment with the 3 speed pillars. This is our POCO X4 GT, no speed limited. And how much will it cost? I'm sure this is a question you guys have been asking probably ever since the performance section. But before we get to that, let's first see how POCO X4 GT holds up against the competition. Now you can see in most features, we stand above and beyond. Better processor, better display, flagship refresh rate, and touch sampling rate. Now they're priced at around 580 euros starting, and that's a pretty high price tag. Meanwhile, the POCO X4 GT, for our first option of 8GB plus 128GB RAM and storage, we have a price of 379 euros. 379 euros for a Dimensity 8100 chipset. That's extreme value. But let's also check out the early bird. 299 euros. 299 euros. Yes, we are thriving to be one of the most affordable smartphones that pairs Dimensity 8100. Super aggressive pricing right here. But before we go on, let's check out the high variant. 8GB plus 256GB RAM and storage. It will cost 429 euros. Honestly, this is already a flagship performance speed expert with an unbelievable price. And the early bird goes for 349 euros. So for those gamers out there, if you want an affordable speedster, this is the one for you. So when we come back to this, and you can see in the quasi-flagship segment devices, we are better in almost every single category, but priced at half. Half. This year, we have been super aggressive with our pricing, and it still continues with the POCO X4 GT. The POCO X4 GT will be first sold on these platforms, also starting from June 27th to July 7th. For lots of the channels, 618 sales is coming up, so the early bird is our best promotion for you on this sale holiday. Channel availability may vary between markets, so don't miss out. But there will be more platforms coming. Again, make sure to follow our official accounts in your region to to stay up to date on when will the X4 GT be available. Now, this was the POCO X4 GT, no speed limited, speeding into your hand for just these prices. Fast processor, fast display, fast charging. This is a device that gives you the speed with no limits, without compromise. Today, we brought two amazing devices to you. The POCO F4, the modern all-around flagship benchmark that has all the strengths, tailored to those who want an affordable flagship device. The POCO X4 GT, a performance-driven quasi-flagship that has no speed limited, tailored for those purely who wants fast performance, display, and charging. I'm sure you guys will probably want one of the two, or you can get both of them. That's all for today. As always, it's good to be here. It was a blast to present those two amazing products. Stay well, enjoy the summer, and I'll see you next time.